My name is Jenna Pallant, and I'm a style-crazed full-time creative living in sunny San Diego. In 2016, my husband and I purchased our forever home, and now, in between balancing my upholstery business, our 4 dogs, and just life in general, I'm going to renovate our home room by room, project by project myself, with some fun help from a few of my friends along the way. And I'm going to share it all with you right here on YouTube. So, are you ready to see a room bloom?
You know I'm all about that brass. I mean, any metal really. Welcome color lovers to a Brass-tastic episode of Room Bloom on YouTube, where we'll be renovating the built-in Pauma Bar in our formal living room space. Wait, what the hell is a Pauma Bar? For those of you new to Room Bloom on YouTube, our home is located within the gates of a golf course community, originally opened in 1960 in Pauma Valley, California. And most of the houses here, well, they come with a built-in Pauma Bar. I mean, it was the 1960s after all, and well, we've all seen Mad Men, right? I originally started thinking about this bar renovation back in December of last year, when I was getting ready to paint our formal living room's walls, in anticipation of our circular 70s sofa's delivery. That's ultimately when I decided the Pauma Bar's doors had to go. Didn't make much sense to me covering it up. The real Pauma Bar renovations, however, didn't commence until we were a couple months into this 2020 dumpster fire of a year. That's when I got out my trusty dusty sledgehammer and started demoing the bar's lackluster countertop and lower mirror backsplash, which proved to be extra cathartic in these trying times. Once I had removed both the countertop, its subtop, and mirror backsplash, it was time for the tedious renovation task of them all, removing that grass cloth wall covering that was everywhere else inside the bar, using wallpaper removal spray and a scraper. And as you can tell by my face, not a fan whatsoever. Wallpaper simply does not belong where water is involved. Please, please, please try to remember that. After cleaning up the bar area from renovation demolition, it was time to start painting prep, which included removing the doors and drawer, and wiping down all its wood surfaces with Crud Cutter's Gloss Off, a product I have used time and time again here on Room Bloom. It's a favorite of mine because it takes out all the stripping and sanding work usually required when painting finished wood. With Crud Cutters, you simply wipe down the wood object you're getting ready to paint, allow it to dry, and then bam, it's time to prime. Which brings me to another favorite product of mine, Zinsser's Oil-Based Cover Stain Primer, which comes in white but is tintable. And I know I've said this before, y'all, this stuff goes on like mayonnaise, but creates a paintable surface for wood that cannot be beat. After applying, allow it to dry for at least 24 hours, preferably 48. Then lightly sand and it's ready to go for paint, which is how I'm adding color to this Pauma Bar project with John Deere Green. Well, technically it's green cucumber by Behr Paint, but being the Nebraska farm girl I am, I see a lush, vibrant green and I immediately think, nothing runs like a deer. I managed to finish the bar's paint just in time for me to also cut and install a new subtop as the bar's new countertop was being installed the very next day. And I was so freaking excited, y'all, for this new countertop because I knew that was when we were really going to start to see my design vision for this bar come alive, which was great until the countertop installer couldn't figure out how to get the bloody new thing in there. Oh, yep, good old Murphy's Law at it again. So while the counter installer was on the phone with his boss, this color lover made the frustrating decision to cut into the trim she had already painted. All so the countertop of her Pauma Bar dreams could get installed. I mean, yes, it wasn't fun or ideal, but overall it was a fast solution to our install problem. And luckily for me, this wasn't my first wood repair either. Plus, we managed to get that brass countertop beauty installed, so it was worth it. Which now brings us to the accessory portion of this makeover, where I am all about that brass. Using these insanely beautiful concrete-based tiles with a brass star inlay. I mean, hot damn, how sexy are these? But there was one little design issue. I could not for the life of me figure out what sort of grout I wanted to use with them. They are straight fire, and the idea of just using a boring white grout was killing me. I did manage to find a gold glittery-esque grout, but I thought it could possibly make these tiles look cheap. So I decided to think outside the box a little bit and called a local metal supplier. Because if you can't find something you like, ladies, just make it yourself. So I did. I decided I was going to try to MacGyver actual brass strips for said grout. So I brushed each of the concrete tiles with a stain-proofing sealant per their instructions and got to tiling my unique idea. First, by marking the center of the backsplash wall. Next, mixing up a non-sag tile adhesive specifically made for concrete tile, and then using said adhesive, applying the tile and brass strips one after another. And since I couldn't find anything on old Google to help me with this new design concept, I was literally making it up as I go, using common install practices for the tiles themselves, while unconventionally using a grout bag to insert adhesive between each tile for the brass strips. And dang, cutting each of those brass strips was a fearful endeavor to say the least. But I did it anyway, looking away as I cut each strip down to its desired length, hoping with all my might that a scrap piece of metal didn't fly back and cut me. Then, once each piece of the brass metal was cut to size, I would polish it with my orbital sander to create a brush look, just like the bar's new brass countertop. All in, the bar's brass backsplash concept took me an entire week to install, and to date was the hardest design idea I've executed yet. I just did my best to stay patient with myself and this new concept, and it actually worked, leaving only tasks like electrical and plumbing on the old renovation list, before reaching out to my neighbor, fellow DIYer enthusiast John McKay, who helped show me how to reinstall both the original Kohler cast iron sink and newly acquired brushed brass drinking faucet, making me naively think that my Pauma Bar renovation was complete. You see, when I stepped back and admired my handiwork, my eye kept going to the glued-in mirrors at the back of the shelves. They looked so unfinished. Not as polished as the rest. So last minute, I decided to add some additional trim around said mirrors, making the entire bar look more refined in my eyes. All right, color lovers, y'all ready to see my swanky John Deere green Art Deco-esque Pauma Bar makeover in all of its brass-tasticness? Ta-ta-ta-ta! This bar is everything I had hoped it would be and then some with its estate sell crystal decanters. Now I just need this bloody pandemic to be over so we can actually host people over for a toast. Will 2020 ever end? I hope you've enjoyed this new episode of Room Bloom on YouTube. I'm still holding out hope that back-ordered 70s soap and fabric will show up any day now. Stay tuned.